Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Depending on where you are hearing me
Can you
from.
hear me? I can't hear anything from here.
Oh, good afternoon. Can you hear me, Mr. Gabriel? Hello. Can we all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome to class. Good afternoon, depending on where you are joining in from. All right. Welcome to the Gypsy Mentorship and Internship Program for the Artificial Intelligence and Emerging Technology class. We are currently in our week one of this mentorship, and I trust from here on that it's going to be a very interesting well, 7 weeks overall, right? But 5 weeks specific to this particular course. So once again, thank you everyone for joining in. My name is Dennis Williams, and I will be helping to moderate this session. So we already have one of our mentors on call, Mr. Gabriel Udo. Thank you so much, Mr. Gabriel, for joining in. We are happy to have you, and it's been a while since we had the opportunity to see. So I'm really, really glad and excited that you are able to join us in today's session. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
not to waste, okay, yeah, so not to waste any of our time, all right, we'll be going straight to just read the mentors profile, the mentors that we're expecting into this class. We'll be going through their profile quickly, and then after that, we'll be taking presentations from the mentors that we have on ground. And then after that, we'll take presentations for the mentees. So for the mentees, please go ahead and prepare. You would have 10 minutes to present your work. You have 10 minutes to present your work. So do well to make sure that you are set. And when you are called on, please do not hesitate to come up. If you need help sharing your screen or your slides, please reach out to me to help you do that, and I will make sure to do that. But please let's try as much as possible to get ready so that when we are called, we are available to take presentation. So kindly reach out to the presenters if they are not on the call, right? So that or we will not have issues in that direction. So to quickly introduce our mentors, in today's class, we are expecting a few mentors, starting with Mr. Ridwan Badmos. Mr. Ridwan Badmos is a tech lawyer, multidisciplinary privacy professional, and CTO. His expertise expands across various specialized technology law domains encompassing artificial intelligence, blockchain, cloud computing, and other cutting-edge technologies. Being a certified information privacy technologist with the IAPP and an esteemed One Trust Fellow of Privacy Technology. Ridwan is at the forefront of translating privacy regulations into functional applications that handles users' data. A significant void he diligently fills. Furthermore, his unique position in working across numerous complex projects bridges the gap between legal and technical teams, thereby harmonizing two distinct domains in his expansive technology cloud landscape. Ridwan adores for the effective implementation of privacy and security best practice is evident in his active involvement in shaping industry standards as set forth set set forth by eminent organizations such as the National Institute of Standards and Technology and the Cloud Security Alliance and the Center of Internet Security. So Mr. Ridwan is going to be one of our mentors in today's class. I am sure he will be joining us shortly by God's grace. Right. Next we have Professor Francesco Lapenta. Professor Francesco is the founding director of the John Cabot University Institute of Future and Innovation Studies. Currently, he is also um, he is also a Mozilla Board Research Fellow and the technical director of the IEEF P7006 standard on personal data artificial intelligence agents. His research focuses on emerging technologies, innovation, technology, governance, and standardization processes. ethics and impact assessments, and future scenario analysis. He holds a PhD in sociology from the University of London, joint supervision Goldsmiths College and the London School of Economics. The PhD was awarded a research grant by the ESRC, Economic and Social Research Council UK. He has worked as associate professor in new media studies and business innovation at the Department of Communication, Business and Information Technology at RUC University, Denmark from 2009 to 2019, an assistant professor 2007 to 2009, visiting professor at New York University 2011-2012, and John Cabot University 2019. He has organized many international conferences in the United States and Latin America and Europe, and participated in and organized countless academic and public events worldwide, influencing the debates on emerging technologies. He has for years served as the executive board of the IVSA Association. His latest work includes the influential book Research Method in Service Innovation, and then in which he explores the use of future-oriented scenarios analysis for technology and innovation research. I'll be stopping here with his profile since we have a few more to go through. The profiles have been shared in your different groups, so please do well to read through our mentor's profile and you can get to just learn more about them. Next, we are expecting on the call Mr. Philip Rogers. Rogers Philip Acheru is a legal professional with expertise in corporate startups and immigration law. He specializes in contract management, corporate governance, and regulatory compliance, and currently serves as a foreign legal consultant with a US-based law firm. As the founder of Evercore Solutions, Rogers supports startups by establishing strong legal frameworks, securing funding, and leveraging technologies to drive growth. His focus on legal technologies and artificial intelligence enables him to provide innovative solutions that simplify operations and empower businesses to thrive. With a strong background in advising executives and founders on the drafting startup agreements and developing strategies for scaling business, Rogers delivers practical legal insights for faster, sustainable growth and long-term success. So Rogers is one of the mentors we are expecting in class. Mr. Rogers is one of the mentors we are expecting in class. And last but not least, we already have him here, the one and only Mr. Gabriel Udo. Mr. Gabriel holds a PhD and is a distinguished legal scholar and technology policy expert with specialization in artificial intelligence law, governance, and ethics. He is a permanent fellow of the Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Law Society ROSE in Berlin, where his work focuses on legal, ethical, and policy risks associated with emerging technologies. Gabriel advises corporations and public institutions on AI governance frameworks, risk management, and regulatory compliance, with particular expertise in data protection, impact assessments, AI case management, and ethical data governance. His professional experience includes consulting and collaborative projects with global organizations such as Mozilla, and alongside extensive research on responsible AI, smart cities, digital colonialism, privacy, autonomy, weapon system, and the intersection of technology with human rights and society. Gabriel has held fellowships at leading European research institutes and has presented academic papers across Europe, Africa, Asia, and the United States. He is currently a member of the International Chair of Generative AI Challenges and Risks at the UNISADA CEU San Pablo, Spain. Thank you so much, sir, for joining. We are happy to have you, and in lieu all other mentors that we will be expecting in today's class. So we'll be starting off quickly. Firstly, by having Mr. Gabriel just give us a quick introduction into the topic for today, and then we'll move over to our other mentors who I'm sure, okay, I can see Prof is already on call. Thank you so much, Professor Francesco, for joining in. We're happy to have you here. But once Mr. Gabriel is done, we'll move over to Prof. So, Mr. Gabriel, over to you. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much, Dennis. Please indicate if you can hear me. Just
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
okay, great. Just to be sure. And again, it's nice to be back. In the last, I think the last 1 year, I haven't, I wasn't in any of the sessions. Was trying to figure out some other things, but I'm glad to be here again. And unfortunately, I may not be staying till the end because I have to catch a flight quite quickly. And again, apologies for not having a presentation like a PowerPoint. In subsequent weeks. I'll make sure that those are available. Today, I've been told I need to use 20 minutes, but I may not use that much. I usually prefer to have the students to, I mean, I saw the presentations yesterday and they are quite interesting. I like the students to have a go at the topic first, get to know their perspectives and what you understand, where you might need to have some, adjustments, and just what you think generally. So it shapes the direction of the conversation. It's not me as a mentor coming with the information and then defining where I would like you to go. But since this is it's traditional to Gypsy, I'll just give a very brief, very quick background. I just scribbled short notes here and there just to give a direction, not fully, but to a large extent, to what may be expecting. So today is going to be an introductory session. I've seen the slides, I've seen the presentations that the students that you did, and it's quite interesting. Some new things, shows that you have a general understanding of what artificial intelligence is and what the reference to emerging technologies and why it's important that we have a conclusive, a deeper study of this. In the last 4 to 5 years, I've had always in this conversation, I usually, especially with Africans, I like to begin with the idea that we are currently not catching up, generally speaking, with the global trends on artificial intelligence. I see lots of profiles online. Everyone seems to have an idea, but I know, and I think that's the position actually, that most of us do not have this deep-seated understanding of artificial intelligence, other emerging technologies, and then how they impact society, basically, which is why it's very important. Artificial intelligence it's not just a new technology now. It's not just an emerging technology. It's been there, right? These are terms that that were introduced first in the 50s and then came in the 60s in different names, different ideologies, but the idea of automating, which is why we talk about artificial intelligence most of the times, the fact that we are automating, we're pulling the human out of the system. Now, the difference between AI and the usual software is mostly the capability for it to learn, the machine learning capabilities. So most of the other definitions that you would see of artificial intelligence will spell out that what differentiates it from others, arguably, is the fact that it has the capacity to learn and relearn and learn new things. This brings most of the risks are tied to that capability. The fact that you cannot fully 100% predict an artificial intelligence-based system. And this will lead us to where we have to discuss regulations, discuss ethical issues, and discuss having to set up governance and policy structures in organizations, or what governments, what countries should do, what kind of regulations we should have, what we should think about. So for us, especially young people in the African part of the global South, what the things that are important, what you should look out for when discussing artificial intelligence and emerging technologies is what artificial intelligence is. Try to differentiate it from the traditional software solutions that we already have, because many a times they look alike. There are many solutions, there are many softwares that are just automation, right? They are not, there's no no machine learning capability. It's not able to go outside set specified rules. And secondly, we need to find out how this impacts the world at large, the global society, what's changing, the workforce is getting affected. Legal terminologies are being redefined. For instance, we have what we used to call data privacy at the time is rapidly changing. Your perception of data protection as at 5 years ago should be different now, because AI has brought a couple of other things that are not in the traditional sense. For instance, data processing is now, it differs. You go to many courts, you will hear lots of interpretation as to what data processing in the case of artificial intelligence is. There are issues around intellectual property. It's becoming more pronounced now. There are more than 100 cases sitting in only US courts around the subject of who owns what in the case of artificial intelligence, or especially with regards to large language models and their capability to reproduce what has already been there. And then we have many other human rights issues. It's just wide-ranging. So I would like, when you are discussing artificial intelligence and you're looking at the impact in society, start use existing regulatory frameworks. For instance, if you're discussing the impact of artificial intelligence in human rights, you could pick Chapter 4 of the Nigerian Constitution as an example and look at each of the rights. What would AI do? You'd realize that there are lots of these that are not really provided for. Then that would give you an idea as to the way forward. What do we need to do next? Because existing regulations have not provided for some of the things, some of the impacts of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies. And finally, the third thing is, it's important to know how artificial intelligence-based systems, or how artificial intelligence generally affects our society in the context of where we are. I say this because many times you go online, you see global regulations, global ethics, global this, global that. Its experience has showed over the years, in the last 2-3 years, that the impact of AI differs from one society to another. And especially in the case of Africa, we have a very multicultural society. So you could have somebody, if you're Nigerian, you would understand that how AI affects somebody in Calabar might differ from how it affects another person in Abuja, or how it affects a Christian down south might differ from how it affects a Muslim up north, and so on and so forth. So because of that diversity, it's important that we don't just know the general impact of AI. We need to contextualize the use of artificial intelligence. If we use an AI that produces, let me use an example, something that I have studied recently. If we use an AI that produces image of same gender relationships, in some other parts of the world, it's acceptable, right? But that's been criminalized in Nigeria. So what would be the effect of that particular model when it's being used in the context or in Nigeria? Or when you use an AI that produces information, certain kinds of information that is not acceptable in certain aspects of the society, the Nigerian society, for instance, alcohol consumption, that may not be a thing amongst the Muslim, the more Islamic societies, but in down south, it's not really a crime. So we need to look at the impact of artificial intelligence in the context of their applications. Then finally, we can also look down at the impact of AI in not just communities, but in organizations. Now, how does it affect the workforce, for instance? In my company, in my law firm, in wherever you're working or wherever you intend to go to, how does AI change this? But then you need to have at the back of, because the mistake we make most of the times is we carry this negative placard when we're approaching artificial intelligence. It's good to know, it's necessary to know that artificial intelligence has a lot of positive impact. There are 1,001 positive impacts you could think of what artificial intelligence actually brings towards improving the society. So don't face AI as that system that is coming to take all our jobs, is coming to take food off our table, is coming to destroy everything that humanity has built over the years. Yes, there are negative impacts. Yes, there are risks. But if you do not catch up with what you can do with AI responsibly and ethically, then you're going to be left behind. This is actually true, right? the important thing is to know how to ethically use it. We've had lots of these issues. Unfortunately, we do not have lots of regulation, so we don't have a lot of guardrails around the use of AI, especially in Africa. So I'm teaching in a university. I give a short research, and out of the 56 scripts that I read, 100% certain that 40 of them were completely AI generated. Not just from reading them, you'd understand the language. So there's nothing really wrong with using AI, but it has to be used within the ethical boundaries that are set. If you attend a university that it's allowed, then you can go ahead and use it. But also you have to look at the other impacts on yourself against what frameworks or what guidelines are there? How does it affect your thinking? And this is not just with AI, other forms of emerging technologies. We get over dependent on technologies, and it forms a huge issue. Over time, people don't realize that. And I use myself as an example. Whenever I'm in Nigeria, the city where I grew up in, I know almost every street. Or I know till now, I know almost every street. But just naturally, once I land in Nigeria, I open my Google Map. And even for areas that I know, even the street to my house, which I definitely know, but because I've now subconsciously become so dependent on the existence of a technology that can make it easier. So I just open it and I realize that, oh, I don't even need to use the Google Map to take me there. It's the same thing with the use of AI in research, in medicine, in simple calculations, in just thinking. So these are the risks that it's important that we need to look at. We need to go beyond just understanding how to use the technology, but how it affects, how the risks that it brings, and in each context, what kind of risk it brings. And finally, of course, I've seen that in some of your slides, AI is in almost everything, in health, in the military, in research, in almost everything now. There's the probability that some kind of automation now exists for any field. So it's important to find out how and to know, especially for those that are still in school, still haven't made a career out yet, to know how to integrate AI into your own career plan. How do the days of using typewriter is gone. The days of even typing a lot of things is gradually just gone. How do I understand the use of artificial intelligence in my field so that you become relevant? So having said that, like I mentioned, I just wanted to give that background so that out here, also from the students, get to know what your perception of artificial intelligence is. I'm glad to listen to as many as I can before I leave. And thank you so much for the opportunity. I promise next week we're definitely going to have slides. I'll be more available at the time. So thank you so much. Let me say a quick welcome to Professor Francesco. We haven't spoken in quite a long while. Thank you so much for coming, Prof. And over to you, Dennis.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes.
The sound good?
Yeah, the sound is okay now from my end.
All right. So first of all, nice to virtually meet you again. And I just want to thank the organizers of this kind of program. It's a program I've supported now for quite a few years, and I think it's really important that you're participating, and I'm particularly kind of thankful for the organizers to reaching out, and I hope to be able to contribute more and more to the program. So it's interesting because I started this collaboration 2 years ago with you, but I've been working in artificial intelligence for a very long time. I started in 2009, so that's like a long time. But everything is changing very quickly. And also my reflections about what is happening is kind of evolving quite a bit. So I'm always thinking of I always. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we
Yes,
can
bro,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I heard some noises in the background. So one thing that I always do is to do a thought experiment. I constantly do this. It's part of my job, no? So let me give you an example. So imagine that you judge in 2036, and you've been showing a video where there's a government minister that is accepting a bribe. And the video is flawless, it's incredibly clear, and it absolutely looks real. The light is very realistic, the voice are clear, facial movements, everything can be identified. And yet the defense claims the video is fake. And the prosecution insists that it's authentic. Now, you, as a judge, cannot tell from the images. This is not really possible for you to tell if that video is real or is fake. So what is happening? It's already now, and it's going to be incredibly more true later, is that we cannot tell anymore increasingly what is the difference between something that is AI generated and something that is real. Now, this is a fundamental epistemological shift because we have been used to the fact that reality leaves traces. And these traces have always been imputed to human action. So whenever you saw something, whenever you saw a text, an image, an event, the implication, the assumption for us has always been that something left a trace. So there was always this idea of being able to go through the crumbles of evidence to find something that was real, and that was based on the assumption that only humans had that capacity for action to produce whatever action. Now that is being totally eroded, it's totally changing. It's a fundamental shift in paradigm, and it's going to affect many areas of our life. Now, just keep the example in mind for 1 second, and I have to go back because I want to kind of build on something that I heard in the previous conversation, which I think it's really important. So I was having a conversation just 2 days ago with maybe 50 students in my class. And they were quite puzzled because I just told them, listen, you're adults. I'm going to treat you like adults. I know you are all using artificial intelligence, but I'm not going to start to use programs to see if you used AI or not. Most times I can detect it immediately. But in reality, I think you're doing yourself a ginormous disservice. What is happening? What is happening is that artificial intelligence is becoming incredibly good at doing something that we have spent a long time to acquire. Let's call it cognitive intelligence and cognitive production. Any form of production that is linked to our intellect, our knowledge, our ability to generate content, our ability to analyze complex information and produce something out of it. And artificial intelligence is becoming incredibly good at it. And the reality is that is better than most of us. The great majority of the students, the great majority of even professors, they cannot reach the quality and output of artificial intelligence. So now you have many years of work, huge investment in money, time, years, and you have a system that is paid $20 a month and can produce the same cognitive output of people that have been studying for many, many, many years. This is the reality of what you're competing with. Now, the university, teaching, education is profoundly changing its function, because even the function of us as teachers is changed. If you think about the university or school in general, the schools only do three things. I mean, that's what they do. There's only three things that the university is about, schools in general. Teachers as the experts and owners of knowledge. Their function, their identity is that of being the experts in a specific field. Their function is that of transmitting that knowledge to students. Students exercise specific skills, which are normally critical thinking, the ability to look at knowledge that is already been produced and generate other forms of knowledge. And they're tested through the schools in a very uncreative way, because what now most schools and universities do, they test your output, they test your essays, they test your cognitive production, most times in the form of text or images. And certification. The university main function is to certify that you have gone through the process of engaging with certain forms of knowledge and being able to perform specific cognitive activities that can be reduced to the banal of acquiring data, process this data in a critical way, and produce an output based on this data. You see where I'm going with this? Artificial intelligence is directly attacking education. AI tutors, AI teachers have way more vast knowledge than I do, that any of your tutors do. Most students, or many of them, are using artificial intelligence in a very passive way. They are delegating the entire cognitive function to artificial intelligence. And they think they're smart. It serves a purpose. They're aiming to certification, because, I mean, if you delegate your entire cognitive functions to an AI, you cannot be proud of the product you're producing. It's not yours. Doesn't matter what the grade you're getting. It's not your grade. You didn't get it. You didn't deserve it. You didn't produce it. It's not you. Now, that is the difference between the analog generation I was brought up in, where every exam, every step was hard, complex, every achievement was mine. And that stayed with me. It created personality, it created a character, it created a certain way of engaging with knowledge. What does it happen if, since you're young and you're engaging with artificial intelligence and you're delegating all cognitive activities? What does it happen to your critical thinking? What does it happen to your ability to engage with knowledge? What does it happen when you start to become addicted to have to ask questions of any nature only to artificial intelligence? Is that a form of society where you want to move towards? Who's going to pay you? why should I give you a salary that is many, many, many times the amount of money I have to pay for a $20 subscription if everything you can produce is something that I can generate with artificial intelligence? I'm telling you, you are a generation that is really playing with fire, because me, I'm older, I already have a career. I was born in the analog age. I exercised in the gym of real weights intellectually. And artificial intelligence for me, it's just another helping product. It's no more than a book. I use many different artificial kind of models of artificial intelligence, and I keep going to many, many books. And in the same way I used to, I listen to many voices, then I make my own opinion, and then I create my own product. But even that product is losing value because I have to work months on a report that someone else can generate with artificial intelligence in a matter of minutes. Now, there's a number of skills that I have which cannot be imitated by artificial intelligence. And those are the product of years of work. One of it is judgment. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say that you aspire to a job where you paid 1,000 euros per month, 2,000 euros per month, a huge sum, a very big amount of money. It's 10 years from now. Artificial intelligence has evolved immensely. It's already incredibly good now. What jobs are left in 10 years from now that someone will be willing to pay a huge amount of money for when it comes to cognitive output? When there's going to be different models of artificial intelligence that will be able to do whatever we are doing now much better. That is the fundamental question that is going to affect the rest of your life. Is what are the skills that you are exercising for that will allow you to be paid because you do something that AI cannot do? So in a certain fundamental way, there's a fundamental transformation in place. I tend to disagree with people that say that the impact of artificial intelligence is not necessarily predictable. I think it's already happened. I can see it constantly, and I can see it constantly because I see students. 99% of them are using artificial intelligence. So they're delegating labor already. So it's already happening. There's one job that has been changed permanently, is that of being a student. Overnight, a student was performing a very specific activity in the form of labor, maybe unpaid, but still a form of labor. And now they've totally delegated their labor to something else, a $20 subscription to artificial intelligence. And they're doing it because they're still aspiring to a certification that will have no value, because if the system and the university and teaching doesn't change, and all we certify is essays that can be written by artificial intelligence, people that have to hire you will not value that certificate anymore. It's valuable only for a very limited time. Very soon they're going to test your skills against artificial intelligence to justify the reason of paying you many tenfolds the time that they have to pay for a subscription. So what are the kind of skills that will survive? Well, that is why we go back to the example of the judge. Will in 10 years the role of the judge be very different from now? Well, my answer is no. while you will have a court of law where there will be AI tools that will help a judge, there will be still a person that will have to take responsibility once he has listened to all the information, he has looked at all the evidence. There will still be one person there that is going to have to judge what the truth is going to have to evaluate the output and everything that has been presented to him, and will take the human responsibility to make a decision. And the judge will be paid. And he will not be paid because of the evidence that's been presented and because of the fact that artificial intelligence might help the lawyers to do their jobs. He will be paid because of the responsibility, wisdom, and judgment that will remain some of the unique qualities that cannot be delegated to artificial intelligence. So in a weird way, you're in a strange position, because not only are students, you're not only practitioners, but you're also in a very specific trade, that is that of law, that has better tools to understand the erosion that is happening because of artificial intelligence and the ethical dimensions that will underpin what many others will call skills. I'll give you an example. If you look right now and you look at managers or anybody that is paid a huge sum of money, they normally have 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people under them. You know, big organizations are very big. Many people work there. But there's one person that is paid a lot more. And the reason why he's paid a lot more is because he's going to rely on these 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, get all the information that are possible, ultimately as to analyze this information and make a judgment and take a decision for which he's going to be accountable. So accountability, judgment, those are skills that will be paid. Another one that will be paid is trustworthiness. If you're trustworthy, people will pay you. If you cheat, you're not going to be paid. The very moment you're cheating, you're not cheating the system. It's very easy to cheat at the university. It's your value. In the future, your trustworthiness is going to be the only thing that will make your job be paid more than artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence will be the slave of the mission of the companies that are running them. And people will want people that will analyze the output of artificial intelligence and make a judgment so that that decision is to the advantage of the community they serve and not of the people that are running the AI systems. So there's a fundamental challenge for you, but there's also a fundamental opportunity as students of law or practitioners of law to look at the ethical dimensions, the cognitive dimensions, the transformation of the social value in the system, and the incredible quest for justice, equality. These ethical dimensions will not be the output of artificial intelligence by itself. AI will never have the judgment to make these decisions. And in reality, this ability to be accountable, this ability to exercise judgment in the evaluation of AI product, like the video that looks real, but we don't know if it's real or not, is become the only set of skills that you need to push forward for. So you need to understand something. Use ChatGPT and cheat, and you will look back at you and you will know that you have been cheating. You will never be able to take ownership of what you have done when it's simply copy and paste. use artificial intelligence in a smart way, use several models, compare them with one another, use books, integrate them, write your own conclusions, use AI to help you frame, contextualize, transform the content, but remain the main driver at the seat of the production. Because remember, what you're exercising is not anymore cognitive production, but is judgment, wisdom, and trustworthiness. If you don't have them, you're not going to get that job. You're not going to have a function in a society where cognitive output costs $20 per month. All right.
So, sir, you said something. So we didn't get the last thing you said, sir.
Say that again.
So I said we didn't get the last thing you said, sir.
So what is the last thing that you heard?
Okay, you were saying that how that cognitive values will be replaced by a $20 output. Well, with technically this is just me paraphrasing, $20 output from an AI system.
Yeah. So basically, what I was saying, did you, did everybody did not hear me, or was it only you?
Okay, I think it
I
was
didn't
just
hear,
me.
sir.
Okay.
You did or you didn't?
I did not.
Okay. So I'm sorry if the connection is bad. But you heard most of the conversation, right?
Yes, sir, we did.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the gist of it was that you are really a generation that has a unique challenge, because you have an untamed power that is that of artificial intelligence, that gives you the impression that you can bypass labor by producing content that it's easy to produce and to submit like your own, but that you're doing a great disservice to yourself, because in reality, the only jobs you're going to be able to be paid for in the future are based on very ethical skills, which are judgment, accountability, and trustworthiness. And there's going to be no money for jobs that are simply cognitive output. The production of a document, the production of a legal document will not be paid, because it will be much cheaper to be generated by an AI. What will be paid is trustworthiness, judgment, and accountability. Those are the only jobs that will be paid, because everybody can use cheap tools to cheat the system. So the only jobs that will be paid are those ones where AI cannot reproduce it, and we cannot trust judgment, accountability, and trustworthiness of AI, because they're not serving us, they're serving their own masters, and we know that. We know that AI are run by companies and they only care about their own interest. So it might appear on the surface like they're serving us, but in reality, they're pushing for their own agenda. So when I hire a lawyer, I want to know that that lawyer is as good judgment, is accountable, and is trustworthy, that is not simply using tools that I could use myself, but as experience and as a standing that will help the case. This is true for any kind of job. In the future, there's going to be only managerial jobs, in the sense of people that are paid because of their ability to have complex judgments. Because cognitive output in the form of reports, essays, looking at many hundreds of documents, which is normally, for example, the case in legal practice, will be done by machines. Could you hear?
All right, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
You're
We were
welcome.
able to get you. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your shared insights. We really sincerely do appreciate for our mentees and the students who are on the call. I am sure you were able to pick up a few very, very insightful points from the thoughts that Professor Francesco and Mr. Gabriel have shared within the lines of just basically an introduction to AI ethics, just understanding where we are at currently with AI and how it is going to affect us, how it is both affecting us right now and how it will eventually affect us in the long run, and some of the unique skills that we would need to retain in order to stay relevant within a changing society that is constantly being affected by the use of AI. Right. So seeing that Prof and Mr. Gabriel have done such a good work in giving us an introduction into the discourse for today. We will want to hear from you, the mentees, based off of the research that you guys have worked on and the presentation you guys have put together. We want to see your own perspective into what the introduction of AI looks like based off of the topics that were given to you. So we'll be taking presentations from both Group 1 and Group 2. The group presenter for Group 1, please kindly go ahead, share your screen, and we'll be taking your presentation right about now. And then when the Group 1 presenter is done, we'll take presentation from Group 2. Yes, so please can we have the presenter for Group 1? Hello, can we hear me? Group 1, please, can we have your presentation? We'll be taking it right about now. We still have a few things to do in the session. We'll be taking feedback from Prof. Mr. Gabriel had to drop off the call because he has a flight to catch. So please let's do well to come up, make our presentation so that we can speed up the process of class. Thank you very much. As we comply, presenter, we're waiting for you. Okay, if Group 1 is not yet ready, please can we have the presenter for Group 2 come up on the presentation? I am Oluwatsupe, are you with us? So please, can you confirm that we can hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
All right, so please, if the group presenters are not ready, can we have someone volunteer on behalf of the group? Okay, so please, if the group presenters are not available, can we have someone on behalf of the group make presentations in the session? Presentations are a core part of class, so please, we'll be taking presentations. Kindly do well to, if you need help with your slides, I can help share them, right? So you just present from your end. Let's take presentations serious. They are how we get reviews and feedbacks from our mentors. So please, let's quickly attend to that. All right, so seeing that we are not ready for our presentation, right, what we'll be doing instead is we'll be taking questions. We still have Prof on the call. I think he will be dropping off very soon. So before he goes, can we just take maybe a few questions, one or two questions, and then we'll move on. If you have a question you'd like to ask in relation to class and then overall the topic, let's do it well to take them. You can. If you have a question, please raise your hand or send your question. I'm taking your questions now. Please let's ask questions. Let's ask questions. This is an opportunity for us to learn. We are talking introduction to AI ethics and emerging technologies. So please let's ask questions. All right, specifically, please, you can go ahead and ask your question.
All right. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to all our mentors currently present, as well as the ones that have spoken to us already, and my fellow students, of course. My question is directed at Professor Pantesco. Since it has been established that we are practically moving from a job market that requires cognitive development to a job market that would be prioritizing, judgment and discernment above other abilities. How then can we, as young adults who are not looking to be displaced, in the next 10 years? How can we improve and deliver on this judgment slash discernment abilities and requirements? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adekule, for your question. So right now, Ms. Prof has stepped up the call, right? He mentioned that he would have to go. He has another engagement. I was hoping that we'll be able to take maybe a question or two before he leaves the call. But not to worry, with your questions, what we can do is we will take down your question, right, and then send it as an email, and when or if there's a response, then we forward it back to you guys. So before we step up, because obviously our mentors have done their best to address the topic for today, that's the introduction to AI ethics and emerging technologies. And we, apart from them, extensively share how AI is going to be affecting us right now, or how it is affecting us right now in the present, and the long-term prospects for AI in terms of what roles and what job roles would be important, or what job roles would not be phased out by future technologies, which Prof mentioned, things like trustworthiness. He mentioned judgment. He just said things within those lines, and how that cognitive ability, job roles that has a lot to do with cognitive abilities may in themselves be forced out. In that sense, those roles will become obsolete. I want to encourage us that this is just the start of the conversation. We have already set up a line of topics that we'll be building up from here. So what I want us to do is preparing for the next class. Once your presentation is ready, please get set to make presentation in class. We already reached out to you and asked about the presence of the group presenters in class, and I was giving a positive feedback that we'd have presentations in class. So I'm a bit surprised that our response has not necessarily followed through with the intent of having presentations from the mentees. Like Mr. Gabriel earlier indicated, presentations, he was expecting to hear presentations, saying that it is easy to give reference and frame to the scope of learning from your own end when they are able to see how far you guys have done your research, and they are able to correct maybe misconceptions that you have in regards to those research, or in regards to that research. So please, ahead of next week, I am pleading with us. We'll be having separate meetings to address this. Let us make sure that we are fully prepared for class. If you have been assigned a role to do, please let's get straight to that, right? Let's get straight to that, so that we do not have the issues of coming to class and then we repeatedly have to call you people to make presentations with nobody being available to do so. So for those who have asked questions, like I said, we will forward the questions to the mentors. If there's a response from them, then we would do well to forward their response back to you. So thank you once again for being present in class. Like I mentioned, this is our first session for this particular mentorship program in artificial intelligence and emerging technologies. Next week, we'll be going deeper to talk AI, bias, governance, and things within that ranks. So please do not miss next week's class. If you are not going to be available for class, please do well to reach out to us to let us know that you will not be present during the session. This session is currently being live streamed, so please do well to go over it. Very, very important points that were very much highlighted by both Professor Francesco Lapenta and Mr. Gabriel Udo. Let's make sure that we are arming ourselves with the necessary advantage that we would need to stay clear, right, as we enter into a phase one era where the tools and what will be necessary are not necessarily what you can do differently in terms of the skills that you have, but what you have mentally prepared yourself for, and the rules and you have developed yourself in. So this is just going to set the ground floor to give you that advantage. So thank you everyone for coming for class. Please do not forget to share what you have learned in the session. All right, do not forget to share what you have learned in the session. Do not forget to tag us. Do not forget also to fill in your attendance. So we have spent roughly an hour in class. Hopefully in our next session, we will be going the full length of the session, that's the 2-hour session. So let's come prepared. Like I said, come prepared to fully participate in class, ask questions after being done with your research. Presenters, do well to prepare for class. If there's no presenter, the backup presenters, all these rules were well defined to you in the onboarding session. So I do not expect us to have this friction. So, like I said, thank you everyone. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon and goodbye.